Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some big news coming out from Ukraine that I want to share with you. We're going to be talking about Volodymyr Zelenskyy in this video a little bit. I also have a video interview to show you as well of him talking about these glide bombs that are completely devastating Ukraine. Russia's been dropping lots of these, hundreds of them in the last week, and also within the last few months as well. Okay, Russia is mass producing these glide bombs, which are very hard to shoot down and very hard to detect. Okay, and Ukraine has virtually no way of stopping these attacks. So, what Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, is trying to do right now is push President Biden of the United States to allow strikes on Russian airfields to prevent these attacks. Okay, he's stating that that's the only way they can stop these glide bombs from hitting their territory is if the United States allows them to start striking these Russian airfields, because if they can't shoot down these glide bombs, which are launched by Russian fighter bombers, then the only way they can really stop these attacks is to go after these airfields and neutralize the warplanes that are being used to launch these attacks. So what Russia will do is they use airfields that are not too far away from the Ukrainian border. I'll show you on a map here in just a moment. And they'll fly just a few minutes away from their airfield, which is still inside of Russian territory. They'll launch these glide bombs, which can fly for somewhere between 40 and 60 kilometers before they hit their targets. So these warplanes really don't have to get too close to Ukraine to risk being shot down. Okay, they can launch them from very far away. So this is very effective of a strategy that Russia is using with these glide bombs. And again, they are mass producing these. They have anywhere from 500 kilogram all the way up to 3,000 kilogram bombs. I think they even have some that are a little bit higher than that as well. But those are the ones that are mass producing right now. So I want to talk some more about this. I've got a map pulled up here so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. So here's Ukraine right here, right? And the front line is somewhere along this range right here, right? This is all taken by Russia on the eastern side of Ukraine. And then Kharkiv is being contested right now as well. So there's an air base not too far away from here. Here's the Ukrainian border. And this is called the Voronezh Malshevo Air Base. Okay, and it's right here. And this air base hosts lots of Su-34, lots of fighter bombers from Russia. And these Su-34s, I believe, carry these glide bombs that are used to attack Ukraine. So they'll launch these Su-34s from this airfield, which is, again, not too far away from the Ukrainian border, right? It's just right here. And they'll fly, maybe 60 to 40 kilometers away from the border, launch these glide bombs, and then they'll fly into Ukrainian territory and hit their target. So this is very effective for Russia to be doing this. And again, Ukraine, if they have Patriot air defense systems, I believe they can take some of these down. But again, Russia's launching more than 800 of these in 1 week. So Ukraine does not have enough Patriot missiles when each Patriot missile costs $3 million for one Patriot missile to shoot down a glide bomb when there's 800 of them coming. They don't have the money to do this. So the only thing they can really do is try to go after these airfields, which again is not too far away. Okay, if they had permission to fire from around the Kharkiv region over here to the Voronezh Malshevo Air Base, they could start targeting these air bases and destroying these warplanes that are literally just sitting over here in the runways. I understand it's empty right now in this satellite footage here, but they might have 20, 30, 50 of these just sitting here, and they could be launching attacks and taking these out, and these don't even have hangars or anything. But right now, the Biden administration is making it very difficult for them to do so. They're not able to go after these airfields due to restrictions with U.S. weapons. So right now, what they're able to do is they're able to strike just beyond the border of like Kharkiv or anywhere inside of Russia, really, but they aren't allowed to strike very much further than that. And that's where these bombing campaigns are coming from, is from these airfields that they use these glide bombs from 60 to 40 kilometers away from the border, okay? So, again, Ukraine cannot shoot down these warplanes. Ukraine cannot shoot down the glide bombs that are coming in. So what does that lead to? It leads to devastation of their country, devastation of their troops, and they cannot prevent these attacks. So I've got this article pulled up here for you on Politico. It says Zelenskyy urges Biden to allow Ukraine to hit Russian airfields to stop Kremlin bombing campaign. Ukraine needs U.S. permission to use ATACMS to hit Russian bases where bombing bomb-dropping aircraft are based. Ukraine cannot stop the deadly rain of Russian bombs unless the U.S. gives permission to use long-range missiles to hit airfields in Russia, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said in an interview. So they could be using these ATACMS right now. These ATACMS that they have, I'm pretty sure, could reach this Malshevo or Voronezh Malshevo airfield and probably many other airfields nearby as well. And they could be going after these warplanes and these airfields if they really wanted to, but right now they can't, obviously, because Biden's not letting them. So the biggest issue is with the glide bombs. Zelenskyy told the Philadelphia Inquirer in an interview published on Sunday, glide bombs are free-fall bombs, many dating back to Soviet times, that have been modernized with winglets and GPS navigation, allowing them to be steered towards their targets with a range of 40 to 60 kilometers. They are fast, small, and emit no heat signature, making them very difficult to intercept. Russia has been launching more than 100 a day to devastating effect, dropping them from fighter bombers flying in Russian airspace. So see, it's a really big problem for them. They can't shoot these down because they've got no heat signature. So it's difficult for them to intercept them. And then there's hundreds being launched every day. And Ukraine doesn't have enough Patriot missiles to shoot all these down. And then these Russian fighter bombers, they launch them from inside Russian territory. In the interview, Zelenskyy urged U.S. President Joe Biden to allow Ukraine to use Army Tactical Missile System ATACMS missiles with a range of 300 kilometers to strike airfields deep in Russia's rear. That would imply a further loosening of U.S. policy on Kiev's use of donated weapons. So far, the U.S. only lets Ukraine strike areas in Russia close to the border. A response to this spring's Russian offensive against Ukraine's second city of Kharkiv. We managed to make a deal that we can use certain weapons in Kharkiv direction and a little bit further to the north, but everyone understands that Russian aerial bombs and missiles are our biggest problem as of today, Zelenskyy said in an interview. Ukraine has been pleading for more air defenses to help fend off regular Russian drone and missile attacks that are destroying the country's electricity infrastructure and hitting cities across the country. However, even more Patriot missile batteries would not solve the glide bomb problem, Zelenskyy said. A Patriot missile costs some $3 million. We would not be able to have thousands of such or even hundreds. No one can produce that many. You might win in the short term, but Russians will still exhaust your missile stocks and then keep bombing cities and energy infrastructure as usual, Zelenskyy said. So, Ukraine's obviously in a very difficult position right now. All they can really do is just sit back and keep taking these hits from these glide bombs. And again, I've shown video footage here a couple times on this channel of how devastating these glide bombs really are, and they are very devastating. Okay, they're very powerful, especially these I think 3000s. They're 3,000 kilograms. Okay, they're very, very powerful and very devastating. They destroy buildings and lots of troops. So, Russia will just continue doing this until there's some sort of stop to this, obviously. And these glide bombs, again, are just making it very difficult for Ukraine to stay in this fight. And they've lost a lot of troops, most likely due to many of these glide bomb attacks. So I want to show you now a video from Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It's just a 2-minute clip of him talking about this, kind of what we were discussing. And this from Lord Bebo. Zelenskyy says there's no defense against Russian glide bombs. There are just too many and not enough Patriot missiles can exist to counter that. Plus, each missile costs $3 million. One mistake, Russian jets can go 300 kilometers further back and be safe. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video real quick, and then we'll talk about it after.
Боротьби з кабами, яка боротьба може бути? Протиповітряна оборона. Так, це факт. Системи ППО. Але якщо ми з вами вартість візьмемо ракети і кількість ракети, наприклад, Петріот, і візьмемо каби, то тисячі в місяць у нас ніколи не буде. Я вам скажу чесно, та й сотні патріотів на місяць у нас не буде, бо кожна ракета біля 3 мільйонів, і тут не тільки питання в грошах, ви знаєте, що їх просто стільки не виробляють. Тому Петріот не може боротись проти каба. І будь-яка система Air Defense, тобто в будь-якому випадку на короткій дистанції ви будете вигравати, а вдовго росіяни вас переграють. Ви віддасте всі ваші ракети, а потім вони будуть бити вже по містам, по енергетиці, по водопостачанню, і ви програєте. Тобто шукати треба далекобійне рішення проти аеродромів, де стоять військові літаки, які Росія застосовує, щоб використовує, щоб застосовувати каби. Це у нас з вами, виходить, на сьогодні, навіть беручи Крим. Тобто не тільки російська територія, навіть беручи Крим. У нас з вами, виходить, все це 300 кілометрів плюс. Якщо чесно, 300 кілометрів плюс. Ні до 300 кілометрів. Тому сказати, що, наприклад, рішення, що ми можемо застосовувати хаймарси, щось вирішує стосовно кабів або російської авіації, ні.
Okay, so as we can see here, definitely a big problem for the Ukrainian army. We have to have some sort of solution for Ukraine to be able to go after these Russian airfields, because clearly they don't have the Patriot missile systems, the amount of missiles to even shoot these down to begin with. So he was saying there, it's not even a matter of money. Also, the West can't even produce enough of these Patriot missiles to shoot down hundreds of glide bombs flying into Ukraine every single month, or every single week, excuse me. So very big problem for them. And how do they solve this? Okay. So Zelensky's saying that the only way for them to solve this is if they can't shoot down the glide bombs that are flying into Ukraine, well, then they have to go after the airfields, they have to go after the aircraft, and they have to be able to have permission to do this. So this may be the direction we're going next with Ukraine. Ukraine may at some point get permission to do so. We'll have to see if President Biden allows him to do this, but this is obviously a major step forward of escalation if they allow Ukraine to do so. And this is not going to have a good response, in my opinion, from Russia. If their airfields start getting attacked, they have mentioned before that this could be a red line for them, and this could draw the U.S. and Russia into a nuclear conflict. So we'll have to see what happens here. I'll keep a close eye on this, but this is definitely the highlight of the Ukraine war right now, is Ukraine asking for permission to strike further inside of Russian territory. And I've been talking about this for a long time as well, that they're going to slowly ask for more and more and more permission to go further and further and deeper into Russia. And at some point, there's going to be a major response from Russia, and we'll have to see what that is. But let me know what you think down below regarding this topic. But that's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.